Jai Sita Ram. I'd like to welcome each and one of you to our pre-recorded service for this beautiful July 18th, 2021. As always, devotees, before we commence with our prayers for today, I ask that you join together with me as we sing this very beautiful bhajan before we commence with our service. स्वागत समझन इस मंदिर हो भक्ति की स्वाति की धार सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमार रंजन सब नर नार ईश सगुण निर्गुण विनाशी मात पिता रुयार ईश सगुण निर्गुण विनाशी मात पिता रुयार गुण भाई हम वास्त सदाही गुण भाई हम वास्त सदाही और हमें संसार स्वागत सब जन इस मंदिर हो भक्ति की स्वाति की धार सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमार रंजन सब नर नार सनातन धर्म राम राम भावे वेद प्रकाश अलकार सनातन धर्म राम राम भावे वेद प्रकाश अलकार गन्न प्रखन्न होतल खावे गन्न प्रखन्न होतल खावे ज्ञान झपट उजियार स्वागत समझन इस मंदिर हो भक्ति की स्वाति की धार सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमार रंजन सब नर नार तीर्थ भाया मोद लगावे पुण्य यहाँ पर सार तीर्थ भाया मोद लगावे पुण्य यहाँ पर सार संगति संतन नीम चलावे संगति संतन नीम चलावे शोभन सब व्यवहार स्वागत समझन इस मंदिर हो भक्ति की स्वाति की धार सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमार रंजन सब नर नार रंजन सब नर नार रंजन सब नर नार At this time, devotees, I ask that you all join together with me as you clasp your hands and close your eyes. Go ahead and take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, relax your spine, relax your shoulders, your neck, your forehead. Take this time, devotees, to use all of your energy to focus on a form of Bhagwan that's most pleasing to you, one that will help you concentrate, one that will help you focus. And join together with me as we chant these words. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Ishawasyam Midam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Yena Tyaktina Bhunjita Mahutmatasya Swadhanam Om Sahana Vadhu Sahano Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai Harim Shanti 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 Hari Om. At this time, devotees, as you join together with me as we chant the most powerful mantra in this universe, as we join together and chant the Gayatri. अक्षरे ब्रह्मवादिनी गायत्री जगत् मातार विश्वयोनि नमोस्तुते ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। हरि ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम प्रेम स्वर गायत्री माता की जय। As we continue on, devotees, we offer obediences to that remove and destroy of all obstacles in life. We offer prayers to the Lord Ganesh. Om Jananam Bhutaganaadi Sevitam Kapitajam Balcharam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakaram Namami Vigneshwara Padapankajam Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kurme Neva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Raksha Raksha Gananaksha Rakshatre Lokya Rakshakan Bhaktanam Bhayam Karita Trata Bhava Bhavaranavan Om Shriman Mahaganadite Namah Prem Small Ganesh Bhavan Ki Jai. As we continue on, the devotees, we offer prayers and obediences to that universal mother and that destroyer of all evils in our life. We offer prayers to Adi Shakti Durga Mata. Om Mahadurgaye Namaha. Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhandra Kali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swudha Namostute Jai Tvam Devi Chamunde Jai Bhutbharate Nihardini Jai Sarvagate Devi Kalaratri Namostute Adevi Sarvabhuteshu Vishnu Mayeti Shamnita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shraddha Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Pushti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Daya Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matri Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. As we pray to Mother Durga, devotees, we say, O Durga Mata, thou art the universal mother, and we, your children, worship you in many forms. O Ma, we see you as Buddhi, wisdom, Lakshmi, prosperity, Shakti, energy, Shraddha, faith, Shanti, peace, Tushti, contentment, and Daya, compassion. And as we pray to Ma, Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha, we bow to thee again and again. Dehi Saubhagyam Arogyam Dehi Me Paramam Sukham Rupam Nehi Jayam Nehi Yasho Nehi Visho Jahi. Prem Savari Shakti Mata ki Jai. As we continue on with our prayers, devotees. Again, this is being pre-recorded but uploaded for Sunday morning service. So as we continue to worship for our Sunday morning service, we join together as we offer prayers to the most influential beings in our life, as we offer prayers to the Navgraha Devata, also referred to as the 9 planets.
शनि राहु की तो सर्वे ग्रह शांति करा भवन सर्वे ग्रह शांति करा भवन.
We continue our prayers to the Navgraha Devata devotees by offering obediences to that being that exists in the form of the sun and that sustainer of all life on this planet. We offer prayers to Surya Narayana Bhagwan. Om Surya as we continue with our prayers, devotees, we offer obediences to that sustainer of all things dharmic, all things righteous in this universe. We offer prayers to Lord Vishnu.
Om Shakaparam Bhujam Shayanam Paramanabham Surisham Vishwadharam Gagan Sadrasham Megavaranam Shubham Om Lakshmi Katam Kamalenainam Yogi Bhera Dhyana Gamyam Vanni Vishnu Bhavabhayaharam Sarvaloke Ekanatam Om Sashankha Chakram Sahiridha Kundalam Sapita Vastram Sarasirudeksharam Sahara Vakshastal Shobhikostu Bhashriyam Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturabhujam Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturabhujam Prem se Bhagavad Vishnu Bhagwan ki jai.
And finally, devotees, we join together as we offer prayers to that universal Father and that universal Guru. As we offer prayers to that destroyer of all evils in our life and this universe, we join together as we offer prayers to Lord Shiva.
Sahitam namami Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam namami Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Hari Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om
we offer this next prayer for all those suffering from various illnesses, diseases, injuries, and ailments, we ask that they may have a fast, speedy, and full recovery. We also offer a prayer for those transitioning from this world to the next. We ask that their passage be a smooth and tranquil. Shiva Shankara Bhagwan ki jai. As we continue on, devotees, for those of us who have gurus, I ask that you join together with me as we offer a prayer to our guru. If not, then I ask that you take Lord Shiva or any devata of your choosing in your mind as your universal guru, as you join together with me in prayer. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Dhyana Moolam Guru Murti Puja Moolam Guru Param Mantra Moolam Guru Bhakyam Moksha Moolam Guru Brigvat Prem se Guru Deo ki Jai. Devotees, last week we had completed chapter 17 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And just so you remember, chapter 17 is talking about the divisions of faith in relation to the three gunas, Sattva Guna, Tama Guna, and Raja Guna. And it talks about the divisions of faith. And when we ended chapter 17, I'm going to sum it all up in 3 words. Chapter 17 ended up in the summation of Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. If you want to know what that means, you can look at that not pre-recorded, but that live service from last week and see what I said there about it. So Om Tat Sat is where he ended in chapter 17. And then we moved to chapter 18 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, devotees. Chapter 18, known as the conclusion chapter. And the name of that chapter, or the summation of that chapter, is referred to as the perfection of renunciation. The perfection of renunciation. What does renunciation mean? How do we perform renunciation? How do we renounce things in this world? What does that mean? Does that mean we just give up everything and stop doing what we're doing? At the very beginning of the chapter, we see Arjuna looking up Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Remember, this is the end. He wants to know, how do I renounce? He looks up Bhagavan Shri Krishna, and he asks, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Arjuna Uvacha Sanya Sasya Mahabahu Tattva Ichchami Veditum Tangasya Chaharasi Esa Pratak Yesi Nisudana Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri time, Arjuna is asking Bhagavan Shri Krishna, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, tyaga, and the renounced order of life, sannyasa. O killer of the Kasi demon, master of the senses, please let me know, what is tyaga, what is renunciation, and what is the order of life known as sannyasa? Please tell me. To which Bhagavan Shri Krishna looks at Arjuna, understanding the question in full, and replies with the following: Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karamanam Nyasam Sannyasam Avayo Vidhu Sarva Karama Phalam Tyagam Prahustyagam Vichaksana. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Bhagavan Shri Krishna starts off by answering Arjuna. The giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what the great learned men call the renounced order of life, sannyasa. It's the last stage in life that we know. We know that there's 4 stages in life. Sannyasa is that last stage. And giving up the results of all activities is what the wise call renunciation, tyaga. Tyaga. So we have sannyasa and tyaga. Again, going over it. Giving up activities that are based on material desire. That's sannyasa. We give up materials based off material desire. Meaning that we're not working for a mortgage payment, a house payment. We're not working to pay off our student loans, our debts. We're not working to have to provide meals for our family. We're not working for, again, that material desire, that material need. So that's what a sannyasa does. And then giving up the results of all activities is called tyaga. That's renunciation. Giving up the results of all activities. Now keep in mind, that does not mean you give up activities. You give up the results of activities. Now, what does Bhagavan Shri Krishna mean by giving up the results of activities? What activities are acceptable? He goes on further in verses 3 and 4 of chapter 18 to let Arjuna know. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Karma Prahurmani Sina Yachna Dana Tapaharna Nathajam Iti Champari Nischayam Sune Tatra Yanghe Bharat Sattama Yangohi Purusya Vyagha Trividha Samprakirtitha Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Bhagavan Shri Krishna states that some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty, yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. He says that's what other people say. But he goes on to say in verse 4, O best of the Bhagavatas, O Arjuna, hear my judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of 3 kinds. To be of 3 kinds. He goes on further to say, devotees, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Yachdana Tapa Karma Nyathajam Karyam Eva Tat Yachnodanam Tapascheva Pavanani Manisinam Ithanya Apitu Karamani Sangham Tyakva Phalanicha Kartavya Bhagwan Shri Krishna says that declared of the scriptures, there's 3 kinds of renunciation. He goes on to say that acts of sacrifice, acts of charity, and acts of penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. So 3 things: sacrifice, charity, and penance. If you do these, your soul will be purified. It doesn't matter how pure you think your soul is. By performing these 3 acts, your soul becomes even purer, right? There's no such thing as 100% pure soul. You've got to continue to purify. You've got to continue to purify it. Water doesn't always stay clean, devotees. We've got to filter it every so often in order to make it stay clean, okay? All of these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of results. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Prata. That is my final opinion. So, sacrifice, charity, and penance. Sacrifice, charity, and penance. Sacrifice we talked about previously in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We use a specific word for sacrifice. What do we use as a word for sacrifice? Yajna. Yajna is our sacrifice. Charity should be karma, our actions, our duty. It's the things that we perform in life to others, to the right people, at the right time, and in the right place. And penance. Penance is something we do on our own. It's worshiping Bhagwan. It's making sure that we are performing things in the right manner, in the right means, in the right ways. Sacrifice, charity, and penance. You have to do all of these without attachment. Don't worry about anything around you. Just perform those duties. Just perform them. I don't want you to plan it out. I just want you to do it. Because if you're planning something out, you're being attached to that task. You're physically attaching yourself to the task. You're not actually just doing it out of your own free will. And don't expect any results. Don't expect any results. Don't expect somebody to say thank you. When you hold the door open, I know this gets people all the time. Hold the door open for someone, they don't say thank you. You shouldn't expect somebody to say thank you. If you're doing something right, if you're doing something well, if you're doing something out of the goodness of your heart, if you're performing that charity, that sacrifice, you shouldn't expect the thanks and results because you're doing it because you know it's the right thing to do. So don't expect any results. They should be performed as a matter of duty. That is my final opinion. So renunciation, devotees. Renunciation does not mean that we give everything up. It just means that we have these things in our life: sacrifice, charity, and penance. So Bhagwan Shri Krishna goes on further to explain to Arjuna a little bit about these 3 things and how they should be performed. How they should be performed. He goes on to say in verses 7, 8, 9, and 10 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Niyatasya tu sannyasam, karmano nopamanyate, Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells Arjuna about these duties. He says, prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. O Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done, and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. So Sattva Guna, Raja Guna, and Tama Guna, these three modes of material nature come back in the last chapters of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So starting off with Tama Guna, that mode of ignorance, he said that duties should never be renounced. Your prescribed duties should never be renounced. If you think that you can perform your acts of charity, sacrifice, and penance and ignore your duties in life to sustain you, then you're doing it wrong. You're being ignorant about what renunciation is. Give up the prescribed duties. Do not give up your prescribed duties because of illusion. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, you're living in ignorance. Illusion is all around us. It's known as Maya. We can say Yoga Maya if you want, but Maya. Maya means illusion. So if we give up our duties because of illusion, because we think that's what needs to be done, not because that is what needs to be done, then we're giving it up for the wrong reason. We're being ignorant about it. We're being very ignorant about it. A great example of performing a duty through illusion is saying that the entire house needs to get cleaned. The entire house needs to get cleaned. Okay, so this is a personal example from my own life, right? We have a wall downstairs in which we had to run a cable. So I cut a hole in the wall, we ran the cable down, and I installed the cable. The cable's sticking through the wall in the appropriate place now, but there's still a hole in the wall. There's still a hole in the wall. And in my head, all I'm thinking about is that the house needs to get cleaned. The house needs to get cleaned. The house needs to get cleaned. So what do I do instead of fixing the hole in the wall? I fixed the slightly loose shower door. Was it really that broken for me to need to fix it? Not really. Not really. I'm being ignorant to the fact that there's a hole in my wall right now, which is breaking some of the insulation, increasing the cost of things I have in the house. And I'm doing things that I don't need to be doing. So what I think needs to be done, what I think is important for the home, is not truly what is primarily important. And as I record this, sitting here looking at you all today, that hole in the wall is still not fixed. It's not a huge hole, right? It's a very small, hole, but it's still there. It's still there. So if you perform things because of illusion, because we think they need to be done, not because they need to be done, we're living in the mode of ignorance. If you give up your prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort, you are renounced in the mode of passion. That is Rajaguna. That never leads to elevation of renunciation. So, troublesome, duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort. Bodily discomfort doesn't necessarily mean upset stomach. It can also mean indigestion, repeating fast heartbeats, rapid heartbeats, shortness of breath. We perform duties sometimes because we're scared of what's happening, or we don't want to be stressed about it. We're still too attached to the physical world and to the things that those actions do for us. Reducing our blood pressure, making us breathe easier, doing it out of fear because we don't want somebody to say something to us. If you feel it's right, if you feel your sacrifice is right, if you feel like your charity is correct, if you feel like your penance is being performed appropriately, don't worry about what other people think. But if you do that, if you worry about duties as troublesome or out of fear of that bodily discomfort, fear out of discomfort from anyone, just know that you're not performing your prescribed duties. You can never renounce anything in this world if you care too much about what's going on around you, if you care about too much what people think of the actions that you're doing. Now, I'm not saying go and ignore people. I'm not saying go and ignore people. I'm not saying go do the wrong thing and ignore people. Understand that this means you have to make sure that you're doing the right things in this world without worrying about what anybody else is saying about you or worrying about what you need to do. Finally, O Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done, just because it has to be done, and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit of that material association, that renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. That does not mean you just stop doing everything. It says that you renounce material association. It means that you don't own anything in this world. You commit to not owning anything. You do not own the clothes on your back. You do not own the food that you eat. You do not eat the harmonium that they play. You do not eat the roof that's over. Sorry, you don't own the roof that's over your head. You renounce those material possessions, and you release the attachment to the fruit of those material possessions. You forget how that harmonium. You don't forget. You renounce how that harmonium makes you feel, how it makes others feel. You renounce the need for that warmth from the fire, the warmth from the blanket, the coolness from the breeze. I'm not saying become, moot to all of your senses, but you renounce yourself. You take away the action and the attachment to the fruit of all actions. And verse 10, Bhagavan Shri Krishna ends to Arjuna by saying, the intelligent renouncer, situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work. This is a very, very strong statement that I want all of you to take to heart. So an intelligent renouncer who is situated in the mode of goodness does one, not hate. They do not hate inauspicious work. They're not hateful of inauspicious work. Time and time and again, I will hear that pundit does things wrong. That worshiper not focusing, they're doing things wrong. That child screaming, not living the right life. You don't have the right to judge. You do not. Because here it's saying specifically, in order for you to attain salvation, you have to renounce the physical world around you. Renounce the actions of the physical world. Yet if you choose to hate what you deem as inauspicious work, you're staying too attached to this physical world. You are going nowhere. You are staying on this earth. But also, don't be remained attached to the auspicious work. If you have to brag about the good things that you've done, then it's not worth it. You didn't do something good. You did something good for you, not for the world, not for those who live in it, not for all living creatures, something good for you. So it's a person who neither is hateful of inauspicious work. I don't care who's doing the work. You don't get the right to be hateful because you have not renounced action. You will not be going to Ayodhya. You will not attain moksha. And you are not attached to your auspicious work. You don't sit there and brag about the good things you've done. You don't sit there and tell everybody this is what I am. You don't have pride. You don't have greed. You don't have attachment to the physical things. That person who neither hates inauspicious or is attached to auspicious works has no doubt about work. It means that they can safely do their work without fear. Don't have doubts about your work, devotees. Don't have doubts about the things that you're doing. If it's your prescribed duty, it's your prescribed duty. If you want to paint that picture, you paint that picture. If you want to edit and create beautiful works of art, you do that. If you want to make videos for people for Sunday morning service, you do that, but you don't get to brag about it. Be neutral. Do the work because you know you have to do the work. Don't do it for anybody else. Do it because it has to be done. Don't even do it for you. Just do it because it has to be done. Have no doubts about the work you're doing because know that that's the balance you need in this world. If you want to work on a car and you feel that that's the work you have, don't have any doubts about it. Don't let anybody change your mind about it. If you want to grow up to become a famous writer, don't let anybody put doubt in your mind. The work that you do is in the mode of goodness. And the reason for that is because you have no doubts about it. Because you are neither hateful of the inauspicious work and you are not attached to the auspicious work. Very, very powerful verse 10 of chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita. But we end on verse 11, devotees. We end on verse 11, in which Bhagavan Shri Krishna goes to Arjuna and states, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna
Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Bhagwan Shri Krishna tells Arjuna that we can give up all activities, but one who is truly renounced in this world, one who is truly renounced, has one key component to them, and that key component, devotees, is something that we'll talk about next Sunday for our regular Sunday morning satsang. Prem Savar Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki jai. At this time, devotees, as we do every Sunday, I ask that you join together with me. Go ahead, clasp hands and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, relax your spine, your shoulders, your neck. Relax your forehead. Make sure you're sitting in a very relaxed position. And while your eyes remain closed, use all of your energy at this time, devotees, to focus on a form of Bhagwan that's most pleasing to you, one that helps you focus, one that helps you concentrate. And join together with me as we chant our closing prayers. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Om Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschita Dukha Bhavet. Om Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardanam Yatya Pujitam Maya Deva Paripurnam Jarastu Me Papam Papu Karmam Papatma Papu Sambhatrahimam Pundarikaksham Sarva Papu Haro Hari. Om Tvameva Matascha Pitha Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidyandravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mamaneva Deva Vasatoma Sadgamaya Tamasuma Jyotirgamaya Mrityuma Mritam Gamaya. Hari Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Shanti Antariksham Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapa Shanti Aushadhe Shanti Vanaspati Shanti Vishwadeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarve Om Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Sama Shanti Rehi. Hari Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Prem se bolo Ganesh Bhagwan ki jai. Prem se bolo Adi Shakti Durga Mata ki jai. Prem se bolo Navgraha Devata ki jai. Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki jai. Prem se bolo Shiva Shankar Bhagwan ki jai. Prem se bolo Shiva Shakti Mandir ki jai. Prem se bolo Sanatana Dharma ki jai. Namaste, devotees, and Jai Sita Ram. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to this pre-recorded service for this beautiful July 18th, 2021. On behalf of the Executive Board of the Shiv Shakti Mandir, we want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support for our virtual Sunday morning services as we move forward. Devotees, in terms of a few announcements, we will have a few events coming up next month in regards to Guru Purnima as well as Raksha Bandhan. As we have more details on those, we will keep you updated, as well as Krishna Janmashtami at the end of August. At this time, devotees, we do not yet have a set date for when we will be opening the mandir, but as soon as we figure that information out, I'll be sure to let you know here live during our virtual Sunday morning satsangs. We'll also send an email out to those of you who are on our email serve as well. If you do not feel that your email is on our email serve or our email list, please send me an email at shivshaktimandirga@gmail.com. I'll notify our secretary and we'll make sure we get you onto that list. In regards to a few announcements, devotees, we want to give you well wishes to a few folks who we were not able to say happy birthday to last week, mainly because we didn't have our notes together. So in regards to birthdays, we want to wish Uncle Balkaran a very happy birthday, to Uncle Jim Prasad, very happy birthday to you, to Uncle Walter, extremely very happy birthday to you, to Auntie Drew, very happy birthday to you as well, and to Jay, my brother, very happy birthday to you as well, good sir. In regards to anniversaries, we want to wish Vishal and Sasha a very happy anniversary. They celebrated their anniversary in June. We want to wish Kavendra, my Kavo Dada, and my Bauji Christina a very happy anniversary. They also celebrated their anniversary a few weeks ago. And I did get a little bit of a hardship for this one, not from my own wife, but from a few of my family members, to my Dharam Patni, to my wife, to the love of my life, Serena. Happy anniversary to you. Serena and I celebrated our second wedding anniversary here last week. So I guess happy anniversary to us. Devotees, with that being said, I have no other announcements. Again, I want to thank you for your continued support for our virtual Sunday morning satsangs. If you'd like to record anything and send it in for anybody to listen to during our regular Sunday morning services virtually, please do so. Send it to me at Shiv Shakti Mandir @gmail.com. Again, that's Shiv Shakti Mandir @gmail.com. I hope you all have a safe, wonderful, happy, and healthy week. Stay safe. Remember to check on each other, and we'll see you during our next regular Sunday morning satsang. Jai Sita Ram, everyone.